Hello, my name is Clavon, and welcome to rptv, where we bring you the stories that matter the most to our community. This week, we shine a light on Carol Mark, a remarkable figure in Toronto's art scene and a key contributor to the Moss Park neighborhood. As the driving force behind Amazing Moss Park Collective and 183 Gallery, Carol has spent over 2 decades championing inclusivity and change, using art as a powerful tool for community empowerment and cultural celebration. Join us as we delve into Carol's inspiring journey and her unwavering dedication to building a vibrant, connected community.
My name is Carol Mark, and I'm the curator and owner of Amazing Moss Park Collective and also 183 Gallery. That's our Instagram handle as well. I opened the gallery about 20 years ago, and it was a response to a need within the community of people wanting to show art, and there wasn't any space. We actually had a different model. I did not collect money from the sales. We actually donated the money back out to grassroots organizations or the community. I grew up in the center of the city, right behind the Girard Street village. My grandfather had a rooming house at the turn of the century, and it had a very vibrant area called the Girard Street area. It was very like Greenwich Village. It was exciting, a lot of arts, a lot of books, and Moss Park is an area that is sort of like that. It's interesting, it has history. And I stepped into this building, and within 20 minutes, I put in an offer. There was something about it I loved. Well, I'm a city girl. I was born in Toronto, and I love cities. I love Toronto. And I think the one thing that shocked me about Moss Park was its reputation. And not that it was a good thing or a bad thing, but it had a huge mountain and a huge reputation to overcome. There are so many positives. I don't look at people as good or bad. I look at what we can offer people, and the people and the community is what make neighborhoods, and we have to have that because that's what makes a strong country. I actually opened the gallery. We've had international artists. I've invited people, but also I've handpicked people. Chris Fung, who actually lives in Moss Park, he had a show here a few months ago. It was a love letter to Moss Park, actually. And the reason why I loved it was he has a real concern and a real love for the area. And he shows it in his characteristics of his paintings and of the people that live here and the landmarks. And that's what I love. And I think that when I pick somebody, they could be experienced, they could be internationally shown, but there is something about their art that pulls at one's heartstring, and you know that it's going to touch the viewer. Well, when I first initially had the gallery, there was a lot of people that were not included, like in art galleries, and one of the things was that I wanted to showcase. So I actually supported and gave supplies to people that were from minorities, such as the Black community and the Indigenous. And at that time, my friend was building the first hospice at Wounded Knee in South Dakota. And that, I'm sure you've heard, that's a famous place. And I also connected with artists there, and I brought some work back to sell here to support the artists down there. Our audience actually is varied. I look at the Google stats, and we've had 190,000 views so far. I've had calls from outside of the city that are coming in here, which surprised me. And I've had people that have wandered off the street. So I think that our audience is very varied. I think they're curious. I want to have it more open, more accessible, more curious, because I think always in the past, galleries were off limits. You had to have money or a certain class of people, and we don't have that. A lot of times the artists that I invite, I won't charge a fee or I won't take a fee. What I do ask is the entry for any of the guests is something for the food bank, and we've had a lot of food donated in the last little while. So it's also to give back and to let people know that we're here to support the community. The first thing to fund the gallery is to own the property. My husband's from New York, and like real estate is expensive. My grandfather taught me that. He came here with no money from a little village in Guangdong province. We had laundry stores, I guess, across Canada. I could have ended up in Regina. But the interesting thing is we ended up here, and it was a rooming house full of old men that were stuck here. So it was interesting that, you always had to have a roof over your head. And so I knew that it was important. If I was to have a gallery, I wasn't taking any of the money, any money that the gallery made, I was donating it out to grassroots charities. We opened the first girls' library in Afghanistan, where I did travel there. We also made a deal with the health minister. We shook hands on it to airlift 15,000 pounds through my girlfriend's charity. So it made me think that, wow, a bunch of women working in their back bedrooms can make change. Maybe that's a lesson for the politicians for world peace. But, we always try to give back, but it's always that we have to make a balance. So we do have it for rentals out on some third place platforms where people pay actually also a reduced fee that need to have an art show or to have an event. I think for me, it's about neighborhoods and about community. And I learned that very early on, living by the Girard Street village, and also working in my humanitarian aid work. Whenever we went into a village, we would go into the Yucatan, and we would set up medical supplies, but we also had places for the kids to go to. We had communal meals. It's a place where people can gather and be safe, and also to have change and to have fun. I think living in the city, we don't have places where we can connect. And it was funny, everybody talks about mental health and how loneliness is like the equivalent of smoking, 15 cigarettes a day. And I worked as a psychiatric nurse for many years, and I realized with all these towers going on, we don't see people on a face-to-face level. And I felt that it was important to have all these elements where we could have music, where people could drop in for food, for something to drink, art classes, music. The Ontario line, I think, is something visionary. We won't know what the success of that will be in 100 years, and unfortunately, I'm not even able to see the finishing of it. Who knows? But the interesting thing is, since they closed off entry at Yonge Street, we've had hardly any foot traffic, hardly any traffic at all. And I think people don't understand, if you don't have a connection to the rest of the city, neighborhoods are cut off. And what they're offering to us is nothing. And I don't feel that there has been that support. There may be community groups and community involvement, and I've always said back to me, I've always said to them, do you live in the community? And they said, oh, yes, we do. I don't know, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But the bottom line is it doesn't feel that anybody's watching our back. And it's going to take more than 10 years. With the history of the work that they've done in other areas, it's taken longer and way over budget. If I was a housewife who was looking after my family budget, this would be finished in 5 years.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please follow us on all our social medias, and for more information, please visit our website.